So here's a question for you race car fans. What is the greatest brand of race car? A lot of people might say Ferrari because of their Formula One history, but I say it's Porsche. The reason why is because F1 races are pretty short, they're immaculate tracks, and they're only racing against other F1 cars. Le Mans prototype racing lasts for 24 hours. Granted, there's 3 drivers, I think, usually, but still, that's an 8-hour race per person at night, in the rain, and against other traffic that might be a lot slower or a lot faster, depending on what class of vehicle you're running. And so Porsche, I think, dominates that field. Well, Audi as well. So, well, I don't know. It depends what time frames you're looking at. I'm thinking about all time. When I think about race cars, I think about Porsche. That's just my opinion. I'd be curious what you guys think. Also, Porsche has won the Dakar Rally. I mean, they get into some weird racing. It's not only just Le Mans racing or road racing. They'll do off-road stuff as well. So that's another reason. Of course, Audi again does rally racing too. So, that does bring up a point. Maybe Audi? They invented the Quattro system. Well, anyways, we're talking about this car today here. This is the Porsche 919. It's a hybrid race car that competed between 2014 and 2017. And it's made by a brand called, well, Sparky is the name of the line of vehicles, but it's really Spark. We'll have to open this thing up. I'm curious. I think the parent company is called Minimax. So let's see what's going on in here. Alright, so back to the car itself in real life. The 919 Hybrid is a 4-wheel drive race car, and it's got a 2-liter V4 engine that's turbocharged, and that engine is making around 500 horsepower. But what's really interesting is this has 2 kinetic energy recovery systems, curves. One is inside the exhaust system, so they have some turbines in the exhaust pipes that spin up to 120,000 RPM. 120,000 RPM, that's pretty crazy. And what it does is those turbines, they spin in the exhaust, and then it charges, or, it's attached to a motor, and it actually regenerates or stores energy into a battery system. And then on top of that, the front axle has a motor. So when the thing brakes, it recovers energy braking, and then it can also reverse and create power. Sorry, there's a sticker over this thing, but well, anyways, I guess it's not so important. This is listed as a Sparky or a Spark model. Okay. So that motor in the front axle creates, I think, around 400 horsepower. So basically, this car is making around 900 horsepower max when everything's combined. So here we have this interesting way that Spark model here attaches their models, and it's pretty cool, I think. It's just a simple 90-degree twist. Oh, apparently it goes the other direction, though. You have to turn it clockwise. And so that's a little T form of plastic, and it goes into that slot. So it's a really quick and easy way to, take a model on and off. I rather like it. I just don't know if the reason why every other brand avoids this is because maybe during shipping, if that thing snaps, the model will break. But it looks pretty robust to me. I don't know. All I know is I like it. I just don't know if it makes sense. I mean, they're the only brand that does this, to my knowledge. But maybe other brands should do it. Okay, well, let's see here. Let's take a look at this photo. I guess Porsche only made 9 of these chassis to race around in. And then, I think this won that year of the championship, Le Mans prototype racing. This number 2 car specifically. Alright, so you can see there's a lot of craziness going on in the bodywork here. Let's go to this top view. Look at these vents and stuff. I like how the openings over the wheels, they're not even fins. They're just completely open rectangles above the wheels to reduce air pressure in the wheel well. I think that's pretty cool. I really like this rear end view too. How they have these little LED strips at the top of the wings, or the verticals for the wing. It's very futuristic looking, right? It's starting to get into sci-fi, the look of this thing. It reminds me of Japanese cartoons, what they predicted the future was going to look like. Okay, let's get into this model then. Alright, so let's start with the wheels. Unfortunately, you know, they're black, but it's obviously accurate to the photographs. And, well, there's a lot of friction going on. This one's fine, but something's holding this one up. This thing, yeah, that wheel's not spinning at all. It's fine by me, though. Okay, now looking at the graphics here, they're decals. You can see the smoothness of the paint here, but then the decal, it's all wrinkly and clear and stuff, so that could become problematic in the future. You know, the decal might crack and look very ugly in the future. You can just look up like old decal car diecasts and you'll see what I'm talking about. Alright, well, anyways, the decals are applied nicely, as they should be on a brand new vehicle. It's interesting, the paint. This is a matte black finish up here, a gloss white, and then, yeah, matte again. But the decal, I'm guessing, is putting on the red and this little stripe here as well. Alright, so basically I think the model's just painted black and white, and then I think everything else is a decal. That's what I'm guessing. Alright, let's go to the front here. So you got these clear lenses, and some sort of indication of light buckets back there, but the lenses are so distorted, like, or they're cloudy. They're just not very clear plastic, so you really can't see much of what's going on behind that lens. It's a shame. It's too bad. Yeah, there's silver paint back there, but I don't see anything that actually looks like a light. Like, I don't see any dots or little squares. Alright, so there you can see all the molded details, but it's just not precise. Okay, well, anyways, there's a Porsche crest. It's not the greatest one, but it'll have to do. This plastic chin spoiler, I guess, is part of the base, and the vent. The vent goes very far in. That's where it bottoms out. So that's pretty realistic, you know, going in that far. There's a little molded in chin lip, I guess. You know, you can see there's really two. So you can see the plastic one is much thinner, being plastic. Casting, you have to have it thicker. Alright. So yeah, as I mentioned, you got these rectangles just above the wheel wells, and you can, so henceforth you can see the tire spin. Unfortunately, it's just a smooth, slick tire, so it's not as cool of an effect as if it was treaded, but it is accurate. You know, they're running slicks in these races. Okay, so now we got some casted in vents here. All 5 of these things. I mean, they go pretty far in, so that's pretty realistic. There's a raised painted black wiper blade here in the middle, and then there's, you know, I guess it's probably a decal in the windshield. You'll see here the air exits or passes through the vehicle and then comes out. You know, this possibly might be an entire channel. Hold on here. I wonder if there's light going through there. No, it does seem to stop at some point. I'm gonna guess on the real car, air goes in here, goes around the suspension, and then it just comes out here, and then eventually gets fed into these vents, which are, you know, the radiators are somewhere back here, and then any excess pressure just shoots out the side. Okay, so another deep vent there. Unfortunately, it's not painted black in there, so, but from most angles it does look dark. Well, maybe not, actually. It would have been nice if there was black in there. Okay. Yeah, it seems like this is plastic here. It's not the same white. It's almost like there's light getting through that paint, and this is plastic. You can also see right here this air gap for the decal. Interesting. It's really interesting that they would even bother to have this decal, this red, is going way in there. See, look how far in it goes. So they must have put that decal on this body, and this is a separate piece. Oh, what I'm guessing here. The whole rear is probably one piece, and then here, because you can see a brake here, this is probably a separate piece, and that's what allows them to get this decal on this body way inside there. Interesting. It's also possible, since this looks like plastic, that this whole canopy is a clear piece of plastic, and then they painted this section white, they added a decal over this, and then back here is a casting plastic. Alright, sorry, probably doesn't, you guys probably don't even care, but I find the construction of models to be pretty interesting. Alright, so looks like there's a black paint graphic here. It's just blank, this little vent that goes into the engine, and look at all these antennas, you know, it's like looking like an airplane or something. Okay. The vertical wing here. This must be a piece of plastic. And then I'll see the rear wing is plastic as well. It's very short. Again, the Porsche graphic, it's a decal again. And then, okay, going to the back. The plastic is really thin, you know, look how thin this plastic is. Ooh, unfortunately, look at the vertical fin, it's crooked. It's not really vertical, unless I do that. That's too bad. Okay, and some silver paint here. I'm assuming this is like a heat shield for the exhaust. These must be the exhaust pipes. Okay, and then some access ports to get into everything. And then, you can actually see the tire going right through this, you know, the air passing through, so that's pretty neat. And then, yeah, it's just some thin vertical streaks here for the diffuser. Strange, you know, they don't write Spark model, they don't write the Porsche name, the year, they don't write anything. It's just a plain bottom. It's very strange. So I'm guessing they just don't expect you to take it off the plastic base. But look at this base, there's nothing on it. This is really odd also. Why wouldn't it say what the car is? Why wouldn't they say that it won Le Mans in 2019 or 2017? Let me see back here. Yeah, the box says 2017 winner. So that's really odd, you know. That's super lazy on Spark's part there. I will say the model didn't actually cost a whole lot of money. One would think that this would actually cost more than what you can get this for online, just based on the fact that it's got a whole lot of molded detail and then a whole lot of graphics on top of that. So in fact, I'm looking at the paint and the graphics. I don't really see many problems. I suppose there's a tiny contaminant right there. But usually when I see decals on a model, I usually see a bunch of air pockets behind the creases, like where it goes into a body panel gap. But I don't really see that on this one. Like, I don't see any air pockets here. I'm sure they're probably there somewhere, but... Well, actually that was one right there. I just smoothed it out. That's the only major one right there. But it's so far in that you wouldn't see it in most cases. And then, look at this chrome. It's really cool. I don't know how they do this. I don't know if this is a sticker or a decal, or if they painted it or something. But it's extremely shiny. Just look at the reflection here. Alright, so... You'll notice the cockpit is very long. I have a suspicion this is the door right here, but then look how far the windshield goes. It's interesting, the design of it. Unfortunately, it's such a warped, it's such a rounded cockpit. I don't know if we're going to be able to see anything inside of this thing. Like a seat. I think that's the seat back right there. It's smooth, there's no seat belts or anything. And then, unfortunately, the dashboard, I can't really see much of that. Well, what do we got here? Maybe that's the steering wheel? Hold on. I gotta zoom in here. That's a really weird steering wheel. It looks like something out of a spaceship. I don't know what that's... I have to assume that's supposed to be a steering wheel, but it's not remotely round. It looks like three things. So, I don't know. Sorry. That's strange. I didn't look up photos of the real interior of this thing. Okay, well anyways. In summary, it's a pretty cool model. If you like racing cars, this one has a lot of details, mold-wise and graphic-wise. So, I recommend it. Let's compare it to the one other LMP car I have. It's the Toyota TS050 that I guess won in a different year of Le Mans. And it's also a hybrid, I believe. So, yeah, so they're very similar. You know, they're, as racing rules, they're probably both trying to look at the rule book, and they just coincidentally ended up with similar looking vehicles. So, let's go to top view here. Yeah. It's interesting. It's almost like if you remove the badges, you would almost think these are made by the same company, just in a different year. But yeah, one is a Toyota, one is a Porsche. So Hmm. Well, I think they're both cool. I mean, they're both very strange looking race cars. I'm just not used to seeing race cars look like sci-fi vehicles. These things look like they're right out of a sci-fi movie. Alright, well anyways, it's not about Toyota today. Today it's about this Porsche. The greatest brand in race car history. I'm just seeing if that angers any of you guys. I'm sure there must be tons of Ferrari diehards, that collect diecast cars. But again, I don't see too many Ferraris winning the Paris the Dakar rallies or doing all sorts of other weird things that Porsche will do. So, alright guys, well, hopefully I'll get some more dedicated race car reviews coming in later, and we'll see you then.